Hey guys, and welcome to the final part of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. It is now time to make our way to the final member of the Fiendish Five, and often hailed as the main villain of the series, Clockwork.
We were on our way to the Krakkarov volcano in Russia. While looking over what little information I had on the final member of the Fiendish Five, I began to notice something. In the 4 parts of the Thievius Raccoonus recovered so far, several of the pictures depict a shadowy owl-like figure, which looks very similar to the police images of the mysterious Clockwork. Is this a strange coincidence, or is there something I'm missing?
Hey, Sly! The road to Clockwork's fortress is blocked! Do me a favor and shoot out that lock for me, would you, pal?
Alright, so here's what we gotta do. Yes, this entire part comprises of just one... this entire level is gonna be in one part rather than 2, because it's actually a very short episode, but it is a brutal one. You're actually not in control of Sly himself that much. I'm going to be doing all sorts of things. So we begin with this shooting section, which is a disappointing power-up that we got from the last page of the Thievius Raccoonus. And I'm going to keep talking over Bentley and Murray because they don't shut up throughout much of this level. Right, now we've got these robot birds, because that's what Clockwork is, a giant mechanical owl. He's the main villain of this game. He's sort of the main villain of Sly 2-ish. Him and Mix merged with Constable and Captain Neela, and he does show up as like a gag, or an Easter egg I should say, in Sly 4. Anyway, make sure you shoot these rocks, because otherwise that can happen. There's a lot of edits in this part, I should point out, because this level is brutal. It is brutal. There are no checkpoints during this entire section, so make sure you don't die right at the end. And that can apply to a great number of places. Also, these things make really unusual... It sounds like they're gargling. I think their attack method is to try and fly into you at some point. Right, gotta be quick. Try and shoot as many of these once you can from a distance before the giant rocks start falling down. So the giant death ray will send them down. What are these things? They're a weird colour. Gonna hit the bomb, or you're gonna hit these, they break up into more pieces, and there you go. That is a very tough van, though. Nothing actually happens. All it does is knock Sly off and knock the gun off. That was close. Bet Murray, can't you just drive this thing a little bit faster? Why is this the speed we're going? I mean, I don't think we would have helped with avoiding the rocks and the bombs, but we can drive faster now. Yeah, so you're doing just shooting stuff, and we're at the end.
Nice shooting, Sly! Looks like we're in the clear!
Murray, that cave doesn't look tall enough for the turret to make it all the way through!
Oh.
We've got to get through that security door on the far side of the cavern. The only way to unlock it is to analyze at least 60 of those hanging computers.
Would have been easy to get at them if Murray hadn't thrashed our new turret.
Yeah, won't be a problem. I can hack the computer's connection coupling so they'll fall to the ground. Then, Murray will have to run over them with the van.
Okay, and Murray, remember to use our new battering ram by hitting the square button if anyone tries to keep you from those computers.
Murray, there are only 119 computers up there, and these fire slugs seem intent on getting to them before us. The first one to 60 computers wins!
Alright, so yeah, how come there was no subtitles just before I went into the game? Yeah, okay, so this makes no sense, but yeah, so you've got to drive into 60 computers before these giant lava the Hutt things before the fire amoeboids from Ratchet and Clank ran into 60 of them instead. There's 119 in all, so we need 60, while they need 50, well, they have up to 59. So we suddenly have this battering ram. Sly 1 does for the Sly 1. The Cold Heart of Hate does for the most part just try to put together most of the things you've already done in the game. So it's just sort of just a hodgepodge of things, as well as adding in even more. Yeah, this section really isn't too bad. Just gotta keep an eye out for where all of the fire slugs are. That's about it. Otherwise, beating them can get a little close, but nothing too bad. See, 56 to 47. I am way ahead. Before they even got to 50.
Murray, now we have enough data to open the security doors. Just past them is the control room to Clockwork's Death Ray Tower. I think it's time for some Cooper thieving and sabotage. Don't you think, Sly? Careful, Sly! Those tiles are booby-trapped! You better get out of there!
Hold on. That's Carmelita. She looks trapped.
Serves that cop right. She's been dogging us from the start.
It's just a misunderstanding. We've got to free her.
Are you crazy, Sly? Clockwork probably stuck her there to trap you.
But if I don't do anything, Carmelita's doomed. Besides, stealing just won't be any fun without her.
Sly, your ridiculous raccoon logic sends shivers up my shell. But if you're determined to go through with this, that barrel will undoubtedly help, though I have no idea how you'll get up there.
Dude, a spire jump here, a rail slide there. I've done this a million times.
Right, just watch out for your jumping here. Down I go. Whoops. That didn't go right. Yeah, little booby traps here, so watch yourself. Now, Bentley, what's this about Carmelita dogging? I'm not sure I want to know the answer. What do you mean dogging you? What the hell have you guys been doing? I mean, if that's what you guys are into, then who am I to judge? But still. Oh, that was the wrong direction. I know I asked this like way back in the first episode, but how does hiding in a barrel stop a searchlight from seeing you when the searchlight is going over the top of the barrel? It's the #1 thing that's going to see you. That makes no sense. Well, like I say, it's a good thing that these barrels are conveniently in these locations, isn't it? Let's go back here. But the hitboxes for these lights is so weird. It's like I can be right in the center of. It's like I could be right on the edge of the light and still be moving like that, and I'll be perfectly fine. But other times I don't even need to be in the light, and for some reason I get detected. Like that. I swear I wasn't in any light there, but I was definitely in the light there. So close, and there we go. Right at the end. And then that happened. Alright, so I didn't realise until after I'd already finished. It's just a very quick cutscene. All that happens is Carmelita thinks that Sly is the one that's responsible for putting her there. And then they both get trapped inside the little thingamajig that's being filled with poisonous gas. That is literally all it is. The cutscene has barely any dialogue in it, so we're not missing anything. But then Bentley has to try and save them by using this kind of hacking minigame, which we're going to be seeing a lot more of in Sly 2 onwards. And it's pretty hard. You've only got 5 bits of health. When you go down to 0, it does still count, so it's like it's technically 6 bits of health. The problem is, it's kind of like a game of asteroids. You break, and here, every time you break up one of these big green things, it then breaks up into a million other green things. You've got this whatever it is, claw-shaped thing constantly trying to attack you. It's instant these little red blades that's home in on your location. You have to keep moving, but at the same time you've got to be careful about where you're moving because something like that can happen. And I believe I think the red things do double damage, so they'll take away 2 bits of your health. This is where things can get quite tense. There's 5 levels of this thing as well. But somehow hitting the yellow bit does absolutely no damage whatsoever. Ooh, that's close. And there we go.
I'm the best. No cone can stand before me.
Well, good for you, Bentley. Good for you.
Sly, I was wrong about you. Break me out of this force field by smashing its base, and I'll make it up to you somehow.
And there we go. She couldn't just blast it herself? She was clearly fine. Why couldn't she just blast it herself?
I don't get it, Cooper. I've hunted you for years, tried to throw you behind bars, but when you get a chance to leave me in a cage, you set me free. Why?
Carmelita, we may be on opposite sides of the law, but you're not my enemy. Now, the homicidal robotic owl that built this death ray and nearly gassed us to death, that guy's on my list.
I see your point. All right. Until Clockwork and his evil schemes are destroyed, I suggest we work together.
Together at last. Huh, wait, I need that cane. It's been in my family for generations.
Don't worry, Ringtail. I'll cover you while you get it back. If you can, make your way to the top of the death ray. I stashed my jetpack there before Clockwork nabbed me.
Now that we're a team at all, I hate to leave your side.
Hold on. This truce is only temporary. Once we beat Clockwork, I'm coming after you.
Really?
Well, maybe I'll give you a 10-second head start.
See, they get enjoyment out of this. It's just fun. Right. Make sure you're focusing on Sly, because he might suddenly die and you'll not notice what... I was like, how did he die? There's a fire slug, that's what it is. Yeah, now we have this, except instead of Sly trying to protect somebody, we're trying to protect Sly, and there he goes again. I think that was the last one. I think it's all good from here on out. Yeah, the fire slugs take multiple hits to kill. Luckily, there's not as many of them. Again, these have to be some of the most roundabout way of going to some of these places, but I guess we have no choice. That was close. God, the sound effects on this lava sound so bizarre. Does lava even sound like this? I can maybe understand it bubbling a bit, but surely it doesn't sound like this. In the end, it's just very hot rock. It's weird. Sometimes when you see like lava and it looks really fiery and everything, it looks really cool. But when you like see it especially during the day, and has more of that blackish color, it is one of the ugliest looking things in the world. That was really close. Like, it really does just look awful. That one just gave up.
Nice job, Raccoon.
There's Carmelita's jetpack right where she said it would be. The magnetronic support field for the death ray got destroyed as you were making a run for your cane. You'd better hurry, this whole thing is about to fall apart.
I'm on it.
Well, how did that happen? We weren't anywhere near this thing. No, it's just been badly damaged. Yeah, for some reason you have the, it looks a bit more cinematic the first time around. Right, this thing is constantly sinking. I will say I prefer Melty Molten Galaxy's take on this. But this one is definitely more challenging, even compared to the Daredevil comic. Oh, I hate the timing of these things so much. Run! Or jump in this case. Again, you'll slide backwards on this thing. But this does still suffer from the issue that a lot of the time Sly doesn't really know what he wants to jump to. It works fine for the most part. Every now and then he will like spiral jump to the wrong thing. And these things like to turn on right as you're approaching them or right as you're about to go through them, which is very nice, isn't it? Running out of time, running out of time. Go away! Ah, that's convenient. And it's time for the final boss of the game.
Okay, that jetpack is easy to fly.
Wait, where did this thing come from?
Use the left analog stick to aim and steer.
Oh yeah, can't release the left of it, didn't she? Somehow, the jetpack ended up there.
Sly! Behind you!
Sly Cooper, you have escaped my gas chamber and destroyed my death ray. Remarkable. You Coopers always find a way to beat me.
Always? So that was you in the background of all those old pictures in the Thievius Raccoonus. How old are you?
Perfection has no age.
What? You're immortal?
Revenge is the prime ingredient in the fountain of youth. I've kept myself alive for hundreds of years with a steady diet of jealousy and hate, awaiting a day when I would finally eclipse your family's thieving reputation.
Sly! My missiles don't hurt him but seem to create holes in his armor. Shoot into the gaps I create!
Well, if they cause holes in the armor, surely they hurt him, right? He may just not feel pain. They'll feel hate. It makes no sense, but revenge and hatred is how Clockwork here has managed to survive for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. That HD, yeah, thousands of years. Giant mechanical owl. The voice is something I can't decide on, whether I find it fits. It sounds intimidating, but at the same time it doesn't. I just don't feel it fits Clockwork's appearance. I don't know why. Anyway, this is a 3-phase fight, and it's all one thing. So if you die right at the end, you've got to start back from there again.
Nice shooting, Sly! You got him! Wow, that's one tough owl.
I don't get it. You're so familiar with my family. You must have known my father had a son. If you hated the Cooper so much, why did you let me live when you stole the Thievius Raccoonus?
Because I wanted to show the world that without your precious book, the Cooper line was nothing.
Ah, well, there's where you're wrong. The Thievius Raccoonus doesn't create great thieves. It takes great thieves to create the Thievius Raccoonus.
Enough, Sly Cooper. It ends here. I will finish you like I finished your father. Then the Cooper line will be erased, and the only master thief will be Clockwork.
Exactly in what way is these guys even thieves? Panicking as well. How are these guys thieves? He's just a giant mechanical monster. What's he stealing? The gargling sound just sort of takes away any intimidation of you there, Clockwork. He really doesn't seem that tough, to be honest. Can't release his gun is really all you need. And then just something else to fire at him. They'll bring back this going through rings concepts in the Clockwork fight for Sly 2 as well. You actually got to shoot the rings there. So I take it then Sly doesn't have like an uncle or something. That's all it takes is to get rid of the Cooper line. It's only ever been one at a time. A master and an apprentice, which happen to be father and son.
Now's your only chance, Sly! You've got to get to his head and destroy it before his auto...
I am.
Alright. Well, that shut Bentley up. Right, annoyingly timed spiral jump. That was annoying, and that takes you back to the beginning of the first section of the fight. We are not doing all that again. But Clockwork... That was close. Clockwork does just start spouting nonsense now. It's like flowers.
Never.
Never what? Never walk. I was going to call him Sly then. Never walk, Clockwork. Right, trying to avoid all of these lasers is really hard to do. Like that. Furthest I got.
Feet together.
And then trying to go back up through them. It's like, ugh. And that was close as well. Right, now just smack his head and that will be the end of that.
Come back! You will never be rid of me.
It took some tricky maneuvering, but I managed to snatch that last piece of the Thievius Raccoonus from Clockwork's claw. I had taken down each member of the Fiendish Five: Raleigh, Mugshot, Ms. Ruby, the Panda King, and finally Clockwork. I'd beaten them all one by one and reclaimed my birthright. Of course, there was no way I could have gotten here without the help of my pals. I know this hasn't been easy for them, yet they stuck with me through it all. Murray, boy, it took a lot of guts for him to get out in the field with me. I know he was scared, but he's got more heart than anyone I've ever known. And thank goodness for Bentley. Without his expertise, I'd have never found my way off that rooftop in Paris. A guy couldn't ask for a better gang of friends. Who could ever forget the lovely Carmelita? Looks like we're not going to be friends anymore. Now that Clockwork's death ray is out of commission, we're back to playing cops and robbers. I thought for sure she was going to slap the handcuffs on me right then and there. But instead, she was true to her word and gave me that 10-second head start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2... One. I felt bad leaving her stranded on that giant rock, but I knew it wouldn't be long before we'd see each other again.
I hate to tell you this, Sly, but the Thievius Raccoonus isn't fully restored. You're gonna have to go back and unlock all the vaults to find the pages you're missing. There is some good news, though. A friend of mine in Japan just sent me this really cool movie. And guess what? It's all about us!
いやー危なかった。ま、カルマリータちゃんには悪いけど、今回も俺様たちの勝ちだ。このデータファイルがあれば、父ちゃんの仇が撃てる。あれはまだ俺が子供の頃だ。よく父ちゃんの膝の上で遊んでたっけ。俺様の一族は代々伝わる義族の家系。そして受け継がれた技をまとめたのがこのラクーナの秘伝書だ。その洗練を極めた忍びの技だが、そこには必ず守らなければいけない厳しい掟があった。義族たる者、名誉にかけて狙うは悪党のみ、善人からは奪わない。ところが俺様が秘伝書を受け継ぐことになった夜、突然5人のギャングがやってきた。奴らは俺を守ろうとした父ちゃんを、そしてとうとう見つけ出してしまったんだ。大切なラクーナの秘伝書を。奴らは俺様の全てを奪いやがった。きっと中に書かれた技を使って悪いことをしでかすに違いねえ。そして俺様は一人ぼっち町の孤児院に入った。だがここで素晴らしい仲間に出会ったんだ。天才発明家、頼れる相棒ベントレー、そしてマーレ、食いしん坊でちょっとドジだがまあ憎めない弟分さ。仲間と一緒に俺様は父ちゃんの仇を討ち、そして秘伝書を取り返す。クーパーの名前に恥じない義族になれるか、それとも失敗してご先祖の顔に泥を塗るのか。さあ俺様たちの運命はどっちだ。
So yeah, that thing was basically just a Japanese trailer. Some slight redesigns to the characters. Right, but we still have one more thing left to go. Remember, we have to go back here to get that back to one of these levels to get the last page of the Thievius Raccoonus. So you have to outrun Carmelita again, but we're not going to bother seeing all of that.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. Multiple blood vessels burst in my brain while figuring this out. The code had better be 231.
You couldn't even give him any new dialogue for that one.
Amazing! Colonel Reed Cooper's time stopper technique. Press the triangle button and execute a flashbang that will stun all guards in the world for a few seconds. I can see how this might be useful and entertaining too.
At long last, the Thievius Raccoonus restored to its original state. The first time I held the whole thing under my arm since I was 8 years old. The same weight that all my ancestors had felt beneath their arms as they had passed it on. Although, while other family members may have been great thieves, they all inherited the book. I got a chance to earn it. I had taken down the Fiendish Five, having used the moves my ancestors taught me, and become a master thief along the way. The time had come for me to chronicle my own adventures into the great book. This is gonna be fun.
So, what was he before he was a master thief? A normal thief? A normal thief? What is he? I don't know. But anyway, that is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus / Sly Raccoon. It's definitely a game that is the first in its series. The other game, it's almost completely different. Check out these voice actors. Where's everybody else? Why does Ms. Ruby get accredited, but none of the other bad guys do? That's weird. Yeah, the other games are so different to this one. Like, this one is very straightforward. It has a live system. It has your health is determined by the lucky charms. There is no open world. There's a big area that interconnects all the other things, but there's no like big open world. It isn't broken into missions or anything like that. It's such a vastly different game. Along with the fact that it is a very, very short game. Like, you can beat this level in just a couple of hours. Like, it is very short. I mean, they all are, but this one in particular. I'd definitely say that Sly 2 is the best game of the series, but whatever you do for all three of them, don't play them on the HD collection. Sly 1 is easily the best of the bunch on the HD collection, but it still suffers. The game still crashed on me a number of times. But Sly 2 and Sly 3 HD are ridiculously buggy. And Sly 4 you have no choice but to play that on PS3 and it's still got problems. But yeah, there is a time trial mode. You can go back to the levels. Don't worry, he doesn't properly come back. He kinda does. Sort of, but not properly.
You got it, Sly! The Thievius Raccoonus is complete! Now, try beating all the Master Thief sprints to unlock the designer's commentary. Once you've unlocked them all, I've got a special behind-the-scenes movie to show you.
Well, we're not going to see that, and we're not going to bother with the time trials. I've never done them, and the two that I did do, actually very hard. But yeah, that is the end of Sly Cooper and Thievius Raccoonus. I know this wasn't exactly a very professionally done playthrough. Everything went pretty badly, to be honest. But, you know, it's a fine enough game. The difficulty's a little bit all over the place. But it's otherwise a pretty good time. Now, hopefully, this new PS2, I say new, pre-owned PS2 will last so that I'll be able to play Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. What do you mean there's another Crash 4 out? Shut up. So I have to play the actual Crash 4. So hopefully that'll be what's next. So I will see you guys then.